Okay folks, I found it this morning, and I ended up cutting a piece out of it. It was too long, so it's not the full piece of packaging that I found in the rubbish bin. It was really dirty on the end of it because it was in a normal rubbish bin. It was dirty, filthy and wet. So I ended up cutting out a section and just using that section for this. Hopefully it'll look good. Okay, let's see what we have. We have here this interesting piece of cardboard packaging. It's for a LED light, and you can see I just cut the ends off to get to this pattern here. It was too long. I think it's a fluorescent tube replacement with an LED fluoro tube retrofit piece. I think we're going to make this 100% on the horizontal. So yeah, it's basically fluorescent tube replacement, I do think. So I'm just going to push that against the edge and try to flatten it as much as I can. I'm just going to use my camera hand as well. And then I'm going to use that as a master copy, folks. Yeah, that's come up looking a treat. Oh yeah, that line is on the packaging, I do believe. That's the packaging. It's on an angle though. I want it maybe less toward that way. It's really difficult trying to straighten it. But it looks like it's got potential anyway. So I'm going to try and straighten it. Try and get it nice and straight. I'm just going to hold it with this hand to keep it straight. Yeah, pity about that crease mark. It sort of takes away the beauty of it, some of the beauty of this pattern. But that's come up looking nice anyway. Okay, we're just going to throw that aside. I'm going to utilise this as our master copy. I don't know how big we're going to make it fit nicely. But yeah, these fluorescent lights are on their way out. They contain mercury, which is extremely toxic, especially if it gets into the waterways or into the soil. It can be a real disaster, and that's the problem. The thing is, you can't have fluorescent lights without mercury. You need mercury in them. That's just part of the way that they function. That, you know, you can't have a fluorescent tube without, or a fluorescent bulb without mercury. Let's see how we go with this. That's come up looking really quite nice actually, overall. Maybe a bit smaller on the vertical. I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, we're nearly there actually. Do need to maybe enlarge it a bit more again. Maybe not quite as much as the first one, although that's pretty close. So that's the one we just did. $135, I don't know if that's going to be big enough. Yeah, that's better. I think that's close enough. That's really good, I do think. Just throw those over there. This will be our finished result. I don't know how we're going to make it look, how we're going to arrange it. Anyway, that's coming up looking really quite interesting. Pity about the lines there. I wish I could just get a pen and fill them in the black areas, especially. Yeah, fluorescent tubes, incidentally, in bulbs, they also look creepy in the dark, especially when they've got their afterglow. Very strange looking afterglow. I think most people are in some way familiar with it. But anyway, that's come up looking quite a treat. I think we can we call it quits, or do we go and maybe do a what's known as a switcheroo? We'll do a switcheroo, folks. But yeah, fluorescent tubes can look kind of strange in the dark. They look kind of eerie, and it gives me the creeps. So I don't, in some ways, I don't miss them for that reason. The creepiness, they do. They look creepy, especially when they don't have a diffuser on them. When they're just a bare bulb or a bare tube, they just look creepy. They just do. They look fucking creepy. Don't know why I have that fucking fear of them. I mean, they just made it just a glass tube covered in phosphorus. Have a phosphorus coating on the inside, which fluoresces. You try to think of the science of it, and that looks shit house. I think the first version was better. I think we can now call it quits.